Warning, this interview does contain spoilers for The Devil of Tarson Forest, the first book in the Queen of Sheba series. Please be advised that there are mentions of sensitive topics such as SA and DV. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special rapid fire edition of Pages and Perspectives with Cover to Cover with our special guest, Aalis Blue.
Hi everyone, my name is Alice. You can call me Alice. Alice, it's fine with me. Lovely to meet you. I am the author of The Devil of Thousand Forests. Hi.
Okay, so today I just kind of want to pick your brain. And so for the first one, I want to know, like as an author, you have to kind of you have to do a lot of research. So what was like the strangest or the most specific topic that you had to research whenever you were writing your book?
I think for me, I did most of my research in Nigeria because that's where I actually came up with a lot of the ideas for the book. So I spoke to a lot of natives. I asked them a lot about spirituality, what used to happen, how they worship their gods, what it was like at the time, rather than basing it off the internet per se. So a lot of my knowledge is mouth to mouth, I guess, which is why the book does start with this should have been an oral story, but it's written down because of the severity of the situation we have to deal with. So everyone learn your lesson. And I think another thing I had to really look into was Genghis Khan and kind of how infamous he was and the crazy things he got up to, which was a lot. I think he killed around 4 million people in his lifetime. That's how crazy this guy was. And because I needed to plan how Ragnar can go from sweet loving warlord to basically Genghis Khan.
I love that you got firsthand like cultural information because it's Nigerian inspired and also there's a lot of Asian influence.
Asian history is more documented generally anyway, compared to different African countries. It's not as well documented, our history. So it's easier to research. If you Google Mongolia, you'll find so much information. Google Nigeria, not as easy. So I'm glad I got the chance to go back home just to see what it's actually like to live there and kind of get a feel for the environment as well, because it's very different to the UK.
For the next one, I wanted to know which character, as you were writing them, I guess it's probably important. Like, so did you kind of map, like, do a mind map of your characters before you started writing them, or did they just come to you as you were writing?
So I am a pantser, so I write the books as they come. The only problem with that is I like books that have multiple layers and high readability. Like you could reread the book and find new clues as to what was going on, if you read it more than once. So what I have to do is basically write everything, introduce characters, and then rewrite it from scratch using the same characters or replacing characters if they're not useful, or merging characters if there are too many. Because what I want to avoid, I know it's very political, so I couldn't avoid the amount of people involved, or else the politics would feel really small. Um, but what I did was any characters that was really relevant that you could live without, I don't even give them a name. I just give them their title and we move on. Because if you had to remember all the names, all the titles, everything that he did, you'd be sick of it. So that's and Chidima is the one character I think she existed, but she first started off as a villain. But I think I realized at one point that why does she have to be a villain? She's just a 17-year-old. At the end of the day, she's just a teenager. A lot of the things she does, I don't even take her too seriously. I think she's just really hurt and she just really wanted her dad's attention and she wanted to be because she's the only biological daughter of her dad. So it didn't make sense to her why Azul was getting more attention. And it was 100% because Azul was someone who could attract the prince. So it was a whole situation of Azul was being groomed to take a higher political role, and she wasn't quite happy about that, which is understandable. You're 17, it's all you see. But when she realized it's not all this cracks up to be, the prince is basically a monster, she kind of realized that she wants to get out. And Azul is like, yeah, I'll get you out.
She ended up being one of my favorite characters by the end of the book. I loved her so much. And I think it was that I forgot. She's just a girl who's been so influenced by her father, by jealousy, envy, and all of these things. And so I think that made me really love her by the end of the book.
She reminds me a lot of she's basically a romantic protagonist to me. Like she's like because she has a background in she likes to sneak out. She does all this espionage stuff in her spare time. If this was like a normal romantasy, she would probably be the protagonist. She has the personality of a protagonist as well. And she's also 17, which is like a lot of romantic protagonists tend to be 17, 18. So that's like this is basically her. But because you're seeing her from an objective point of view and you have kind of insight into the situation, because the person she's choosing to marry killed the main character. And if you were seeing it from her point of view, it would be a completely different book. So it made people not like her at first, but then they grow to like her once they kind of see that she's really just a kid and she becomes a better person. I'm really proud of her. I think she's one of the few characters that get a happy ending by the end of the series because she deserves it. I don't take DA situations very lightly. Domestic abuse is terrible, terrible thing to go through, and it takes forever to heal. And I don't think she will ever be like in a proper relationship as we know it. But I'm really happy that she gets the healing she does deserve later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's another reason that I felt so close to this book is because the way you wrote, like there are some very intense things that happen. There's essay, there's domestic violence, there's, murder, and that there's all of these like very heavy topics, but and the book is very complex and it's done in such a way where it doesn't feel like, these characters are victims of their circumstance.
I also agree that I really want. I know that this book has a lot of it focuses both on women then, but I really wanted the women to be the limelight. So if there's scheming going on, the women they don't necessarily have all the power in the world like in most books. This one is definitely a patriarchy. Like the consequences of defying that system is real for both parties. Um, but the way that they take power means that they have to be cruel to themselves and to each other. And it's not necessarily their own fault. I mean, Azul is an interesting character to me because I had to make sure she never shows, like, she never blames any of the women for what they do to her. Like when she decides everyone's gonna die, she doesn't do it out of malice. She decides because that's what she wants. And even like the second wife, when she died, Azul doesn't show any like particular happiness about it. When all these women like start to die, she recognizes that you all have to fight the same fights I'm having to fight right now. I might be at an advantage because I have prior experience that you don't know about. I'm a bit different to you, but that doesn't mean I look down on you. I respect how much you've done to get where you are, especially the Dowager who basically managed to kill all her co-wives to the point that her own she didn't even have children. Like the son that she put on the throne is an adopted son, which is why she doesn't necessarily like him as much. So when Azul before she dies, Azul does bow to her and kind of shows I respect what you've had to go through and how far and how much you've had to live through to get where you are, but you have to die. And I think I appreciate that in a character.
I really do too. I remember that moment whenever the Dowager, whenever she died, and I love that perspective that she has, and that she doesn't see them as like her enemy, or she doesn't look down on them. She can understand their plight. So now that the book is finally out, is there a particular scene or moment or theme that you're really excited for the readers to see or read?
Yeah, spoilers, Ragnar dies at one point. And it's very interesting because I think because it turns out he's okay in the end. I don't get any reactions to it. But I'll see reviews that said I almost threw the book away. And I'm like, guys, we need to have faith. I'm trying to cultivate specifically the reader's faith in Azul. The way Ragnar's faith in Azul is, it's unshakable. I need the readers to have the same faith in Azul because the things are about to happen. We all need to believe that she's gonna come in clutch, no matter what happens. Everyone just needs to like believe in Azul. And I think that specific scene, I don't get a lot of like personal reactions to it. I wish I did because I feel like it was a very shocking scene to read because you don't expect it to happen. Like you don't expect it to actually poison him, but she did because she's just Azul.
So I wanted to send you. I had to keep reading through it because I couldn't stop and message you about it because I'm like, I need to know. Like, I got to get through this. Like, I know he's not dead because I almost threw the book away. I was so hurt, but I had faith. I had faith. I was like, there's no way that you just made me fall in love with this man and now he's dead. There's no way. So so yeah, I powered through it, and I was happy with what happened next.
Yeah, I need people to have faith. Because Azul, like you can probably tell, the whole series is building to Azul gaining a godhead. So in this world, people gain the powers of a god by the amount of people that have faith in them. So you have to build the amount of faith people have in you. And it's funny because Ragnar's faith is second to none, which is why I say he's her first worshipper, I guess. In her. So it's like everyone needs to have faith in Azul, please. Because book two is gonna come, and the ending of book two will have you really wonder where this is gonna go. Where we all have to just have faith that it's gonna be okay by the end of the series.
I'm I'm so stressed out. I'm so stressed out, but in a good way. I do love that he's her first worshiper. I think it's very sweet.
It would be too easy. I had to make sure Ragnar likes Azul because she's Azul. She's not someone irreplaceable. Because I think something that a pitfall romances can go into is that they have a book boyfriend that is kind of everyone can like get hates the female character because she's in the way. The reality of the situation that Azul, the way Ragnar interacts with Azul is because of her very specific personality. She's not replaceable. You can't replace her. You can't really stand in her place. You can't really self-insert, which can be a downfall of a book because a lot of people do like to be able to self-insert, but Azul is not someone you can really self-insert into unless you're that kind of morally questionable person, which a lot of us are not, thank God. But it kind of shows that he likes her for her. and no other reason. The plot isn't making him like her. It's because of the way she is, point blank.
It's very much like she's incredibly desirable, but not any man could just come in and handle who Azula is or adapt to how she is or the way she thinks or accepts her, and not just any woman would be able to adapt or handle Ragnar the way that she does. So it's just it fits so well. Okay, and so for the last one, you have a webcomic coming out. So how are you able, or how are you kind of balancing being able to flip between the two?
I think one advantage a webcomic has over a book is that it's all images, so it's constantly show, not tell, if you know what I mean. Like you're constantly seeing them interact, all their interactions. You see all like the little touches, the little glances. You see when their eyes move. Like it's very like, and then you can like see how they react to things very intimately. With a webcomic, with a book, it's not. So with a book, you need to be more subtle with how things. I can't just say he blushed. It has to be more subtle than that. So with a book, I have the opportunity to add in between like filler, I guess, but it's like filler for a reason to give them time to just kind of sit down and read. I was talking to a friend that I was explaining book two is going to be a really big book just because of the amount of time they need to cultivate their relationship that isn't given to them if plot is plotting. And the plot is quite intense. So it's just gonna have to be a big book and there's nothing I can do about it. Very sad. But with a webcomic, you don't need all of that because the images speak for themselves and they draw a reader to be more intimately associated with the characters so much quicker than words. So I would say that the webcomic, the plots would be definitely faster than in the book. Well, you have to give some and take some.
So I'm a huge manga fan. I'm a huge comic book fan. So I'm so excited. But was there anything that you want to share?
I think I just want to say thank you to everyone who gave the book a chance because I know the publishing climate isn't very accepting of like super like out there content. And this isn't, to be honest, this isn't the most unique thing I've ever written. I know it might be hard, but whenever someone tells me that they like my book, I always say thank you for giving Azul a chance because you do need to give her a chance. And I understand a villain isn't for everyone to read, and she's a villain to her core. It gets worse as the series goes on, but I guess she's a character meant to seduce the reader, her love interest, seduce everyone into accepting the atrocity she's going to commit. So thank you for being easily seduced by Azul.
I love it. And yeah, as someone who's I've read this book 3 times. And like what you said earlier, every time I reread it, I catch something different. So it's such a fun it's fun as crazy because it is a
Um,
very
I consider doing like a video explaining everything people missed because there's so many like interactions between her and the wives that will tell you how it ends with them, especially the third wife that everyone thinks is so nice. The way Azul reacts to her, she keeps saying that she's disappointed. I like the way the third wife is acting, like it makes no sense, and people probably throw it off like as one of comments, but there's like Azul catches on to things so much quicker than the reader does. So when you go back and you see the comments she makes about people, and you're like, ah, okay, that makes more sense.
there are a lot of Easter eggs and there's a lot of like small subtle things that mean so much. And so I think every time I reread it, I get more out of it, and that's fun. That's the fun part for me. It's very interesting because a lot of books are very straightforward, and then there's a lot of books that you kind of have to dissect some things. And that's very much like right up my alley.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot because it's hard to strike a balance between a book you can reread and a book that's fun. A lot of people will read the book and say, I had the best time. I don't know anything that happened. And I'm like, you know what? Very valid because at the end of the day, it is meant to be a fun read. But if you read it the second time, I promise you, you will 100% understand everything that happened. I think people just really read really fast. And because of that, they just, because what's happening in the book is a bit crazy, to be honest with you. But then you miss all the cool stuff. Like someone said they really like the theology. And I'm like, is that because you know why it's important? Or is it because it's cool theology? I don't even know.
I absolutely adore it. Of course. No, thank you for giving me the opportunity to read it early, or for having me on your street team, your art team. I love it here.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry I'm not the most like online. I spend so much time marketing that I don't even have the strength to do anything else. Because being an indie author is hard. You put in what you get out, or you get out what you put in rather. But not all the time. Sometimes you put in and you don't get anything out. So I get it. It's hard, but if you do what you love, write the book you want to write at the end of the day. Forget about everyone else. You might not get people telling you it's amazing the first time. Keep writing. Because I've been writing since I was maybe 14, 13. I'm not going to stop because a few people don't like a book. Unfortunately, it's too late.
You're locked in.
It's too late to stop.
I really, really appreciate you taking the time out to answer some questions and chat and laugh with me. It really means a lot.